Hi, my name is Mike with Monroe, the calculator company. I've been here for over 12 years now, and I'm going to show you the Monroe 8130X, which is by far our most popular heavy-duty but basic functionality calculator. Get this box open real quick. Here we have the 8130X in ivory, fresh out of the box. It'll have some tape on it to make sure that during shipping everything doesn't move. And then a film on the display to keep the display fresh. All right, so we're going to pop this lid off. It also will come with a piece of foam on top of your ribbon. This needs to be removed so the calculator will operate properly. Comes with an instruction manual and a roll of paper wrapped in the cover that should be applied to the calculator at the end of the day when you shut it off to help prevent dust and dirt from building up on the keys while you're out of the office. If I can get it out of the package, that would be great. Here's the dust cover that just simply sits directly over top. All right, the inside workings of the Monroe 8130. It'll have direct paper holders here. The feed goes in here. You have a spot for a spare roll of paper, a spare twin spooled ribbon, and underneath a little cubby hole for a spare cartridge ribbon. Turn the calculator on, and it'll fire right up. Load the paper so that the paper feeds from the bottom. So as it advances out of the calculator, it'll curl away from your display. Put the lid right back on, and you're officially good to go. All right, so the differences that keep Monroe ahead of the game compared to every other calculator manufacturer in the world are three key features. One, it is the enclosed paper roll. This will protect the printer from any dust and dirt that'll gather on an external paper roll and being dragged through your printer, which is the #1 reason for printer failure. The second thing that keeps Monroe separate from anybody else is the indicator lamp over here. This indicator lamp is only designed to let you know whether you do or do not have something in the calculator. So the first thing people do when they go to a calculator is that they will total it a bunch of times, and you'll see that it wastes a bunch of paper. If that indicator lamp is not lit, as it does, you're officially good to go. The third thing that we do that nobody else does is we automatically print your total above the tear-off knife. This allows you to just not waste paper, not yank, put additional wear and tear on your paper, or push the paper advance key too many times. Now, the adding machine will function a little bit differently than a traditional handheld calculator, as you well know. You have to let the calculator know whether each integer is positive or negative, and then you get a total of your numbers. One thing that keeps Monroe different from everybody else is the independent operation of your accumulator, which is your addition and subtraction functions, and your calculator, which is the multiplication and division functions. I can be in the middle of my list, solve for a multiplication problem, and it has no bearing on my original list. And it works both ways. So if I'm in the middle of a multiplication problem, I can do a million different addition and subtraction problems, and it still would have no bearing on my multiplication problem. The Monroe 8130 offers basic addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. It also offers an independent memory over here. Not a lot of people understand how useful an independent memory is. It functions as its own calculator. You can add to the independent memory, you can subtract from the independent memory, you can get a subtotal of the independent memory, and then you can total your independent memory just as you would with the accumulator on the right. You can have two separate lists going at the same time without them interfering with one another. The 8130 is also equipped with a tax key. You can easily set the tax rate by entering the tax number as a whole number and then touching the tax key. To apply the tax, simply enter your cost times tax, and you're given your tax rate. You'll notice that the calculator has a define key. What the define key does, it gives you the ability to calculate some really useful but really specific functionality. The decimal selection switch here allows you to determine which decimal setting you're going to have. The plus position we call add mode. That'll automatically take the last two entries you enter and it'll take those as your cents. But the decimal key will override that, so you always have the ability to just enter $1 plus. The F stands for float. That will allow you to enter your numbers as whole numbers. You have to physically press the decimal key when you want your decimal. But it's really aligned for your multiplication and division. If I do 100, divided by 3, it'll float the entire length of the display. 96 divided by 4, 7, 8. It'll go the whole length of the display. 0 is self-explanatory. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 are also self-explanatory. The DN and PD switch, it controls the printer. D stands for display only. PD stands for print and display. And then N is your number count. It'll print, display, and it will count the number of entries you make into your machine and then print them in red on the left. You also are equipped with a subtotal.gt switch key. The subtotal is represented by your diamond, and that'll display only your subtotal as you add. The space in between, the dot is simply a neutral position. It means you're not using the running subtotal and you're not using the group grand total function. GT is your group grand total function. It acts like a secondary memory for all of your totals. If you have 3 different invoices, you're going to get 3 different totals. Each total will remain in the independent memory for the GT, which is illustrated by this indicator lamp. So if I have my first invoice, this indicator lamp turns off because my accumulator is clear. This indicator lamp remains illuminated because I have that 12 in my grand total memory. So then I'll do another invoice here, and then I'll do another invoice here. You touch your total key to get the total of your last invoice. You will touch total a second consecutive time. You'll get a total of your grand total, and then this indicator lamp will turn off. The paper advance key is self-explanatory as well. The percent change key. This will allow you to judge and measure a change from one time frame to another time frame. Specifically, if sales for your company this year are $3 million, and then last year they were $2 million, you would do 3 million current divided by past, and then the percent change key, and then you can see that your percent difference was 50%. The markup key is good for sales. If you have something that costs you something and you want to mark it up a specific percentage or a specific markup, you would use that key. 90 times 30% markup will give you a selling price of $128.57. On the accumulator side, you have your add, subtract, subtotal, and total key. You also have a reference number key. This is literally just to use to number your entries as needed. That way you can always recall back to that entry as you need. Monroe also provides an audit trail. The audit trail is specifically designed for people who will check your tape without seeing you physically enter the information. A C and then a plus indicates the calculator was clear before you started entering, and then plus and minus accordingly, and then a single solitary total sign will indicate that the calculation was complete. The life expectancy of calculators, and realistically any office supply that involves print, is directly related to 1, the environment that they're in, and 2, the supplies in which you use. Monroe provides our customers with the highest quality calculator paper tape that's available today. It's 20-pound bond. It's bright white. It's super thick, which I understand you can't really get too much from this video. We're also the only calculator company that has our own red. We specifically engineered and designed this specific ink for this specific red. So it will show up vibrantly on the tape to make your auditing and your overall calculations not only look clean, but be more efficient.